Alright, y'all. Today I'm doing a IPS mod on a Game Boy Advance SP, along with a shell change. A couple things you'll need from your original SP is the main board. Do that, get that all scrubbed and cleaned up. You'll need the speaker that is out of there, and you'll also need the two hinge pins that are inside of that as well, because the new cases do not come with the hinge pins, even though they do have the buttons and everything else. So let's go ahead and let's go through and just start getting the top of our console assembled here. Yeah, nice Zelda background on that one, because honestly, who doesn't like Zelda? Actually, I know a lot of people that don't, but you know what? They're not watching this and we don't care. But most of these do come with all of the buttons and everything pre-installed, and you usually have this little white card shoved in here to help hold all those buttons in place just so they don't fall out during shipping. We're going to be rolling with the black button set. It's all of our screws, everything else, and our power switch here. And this will be up on the store once we are done with our modifications on it. A couple things we are going to do is just real quick, just get the wire soldered to the ribbon cable here. This isn't as bad as some of the other ones and doesn't require that much soldering compared to a few of the other ones where, you know, you have 3 wires opposed to just 1. Because, oh no, on 3 wires. But this is for the multiple brightness of the backlight for these. Luckily, SPs did come with a backlight, unlike a lot of the other Game Boy consoles that did not include backlights. Which honestly, in my opinion, that was a missed opportunity there, Nintendo. Very big missed opportunity to not have backlights. Zoom you out a little bit here. What I'm going to do is go ahead and get our insulating sticker onto the back of the screen. Still have the foam on the front side, just so that way while I'm pushing down on this, the screen's protected. Eventually that'll go on to the back. Thing to do is just try to assemble a lot of this outside of the console just while we have room, because a lot of these areas and everything get a little tight. There's our click. What we want to do is take our double-sided tape that we have here. I swear I struggle with the tape all the time. Still trying to find a good way to do this. Like I've said a lot of times, if anybody knows of a better way, please let me know. We fight with this a lot. Just stick that to the back side. There's our dental pick there to go ahead and pull that out. That lined up and pressed down. Now let's take our shell. We'll take the foam off of the front of this. Go ahead and pull the screen protector. And this is one thing that I personally do. So I will take this, I'll get that set in there, flip it over on the other side, and I will just stick that over the top. It's literally just to keep stuff off of our screen. And our little foam piece goes over the top of that. And then this folds, well, loop down and under, going through. You don't have to do it like that, but that is just the easiest way that I have found to do it. And just while we have that, go ahead and take a couple of our screws here. And these are all of the tri-tip screws. And in the kits that we sell, there are 5 silver screws that are exactly the same, and it is going to be the shorter of those 5 screws. This is my electric driver, but don't use it for putting things together a whole lot, especially not these, because these screw holes aren't actually pre-tapped. So you're actually tapping the screw when you're putting it in, which is a small downside to these, but it still turns out really well and really nice. So now that we have this, the next thing we're going to want to do is grab our top plate here, and feed our red wire through that hole. If we can. Not if we can, we can. Need to take our ribbon cable, get that fed through the hole. What we're going to do is take this, flip it over, pull that up a little bit, and we have our cover piece. And that cover piece is actually going to sit in here just like that. And all of the interior screws on these are all Phillips. Oops. I know my hand's in the way. Take that, get that lined up. That is the longer of the 4 gold screws that's in there. Usually the last thing I'll do is put the hinge pins in. That's mostly just because I want to make sure that absolutely everything else on this is going to work first before we go through and do that. What we need to do on here is get you zoomed in here. Now it's a little hard to see, but it's this Q12B slot, which is right above the U83. That's where our red wire is going to attach to. I could trim this wire down, but I very rarely ever do, and it's just if for some reason you have to disassemble this, take it apart, it's just a little nicer and easier to have that bit of extra room on there. And this right here is actually the most difficult part of the entire assembly. That is getting that ribbon cable into place. And go ahead and pull that out. Take our speaker, set that into place. And the wire kind of need to run it to where it's outside of, there's white circular pads on here, but need to run those to where it is on the outside of those white circular pads. Just keeps it out of the way. The actual, well, I shouldn't say pads, they're not pads, but the white circles that are on there keeps those up and out of the way of a lot of other things. Set this off to the side real quick, go to our back piece here, and there is a small little square nut which needs to go down into here. It does not come pre-installed. They used to a long time ago, but they tend to fall out during shipping, and that's literally there to hold the battery cover in place. And at this point, just make sure your volume slider is in place and our power switch on here. Just make sure that's sitting on there. Volume slider's in place. All those buttons should be good. And we can go ahead and slap the back of this together. Actually, one thing you want to do too is don't slap it back together just yet. 3 screws. These are these 3 smaller gold screws. This is 3 smaller gold ones that are in the kit. I'm going to go ahead and slap the back piece on, switch out to back to our Y drive. Over here, just unscrewing these in. These are not, like I said, these pieces are not threaded. So you will have to thread them. It will get threaded while they're getting screwed in. I tend to cross my corners as well while I'm doing these, and that's just so I create tension over here and then tension over here. Just kind of just to create, not that it matters, but just good even tension across the whole thing. And at this point, we can take our battery, shove that in. This piece really doesn't require a screwdriver. You can twist the driver by hand. You gotta remember our hinges aren't in place yet, so there is still a chance. We can damage that ribbon cable, but make sure our multiple brightness settings are working. Our battery in this is almost dead. We have a game. Double check our game slot. Our easy flash is working. That all looks good. So, there, get that shut off. That pulled out. Now, the hinges, there is a little bump on one side. And you want to line that bump up with this slot. And the bump should be facing the outside of that slot. You just want to get that over. Take the hinge pin. Get that on there, lined up. And then get that one partially way in. We'll get the other one on. That one pushed up and set. It lined up. They're a little hard to get into place. I usually end up pushing it against the table. And you'll hear them click in, but now our hinges are in place. Get our Nintendo sticker on the front. So you know the last thing we always do are the stickers. Verify everything works, and then place all of your stickers on. Mostly just because if something goes wrong or you need to take it apart, there's some things you will work on that there will be screws underneath stickers. And it's just a pain when your stickers get all screwed up because a screw got missed or was out of place. Or for some reason you just put it back together and you missed one. Our screw covers on. These are 3 different sizes. There are 2 big ones for your top left and right, and then 3 smaller ones. And these do have a top and a bottom to them. There's kind of a rounded side and a flat side, and you want the flat side going down. No? Huh? There it is. Our Zelda. Legend of Zelda. SP. Huh? Thanks for stopping in. Have a good night, and it'll be in the store shortly.